And we're back here on High School Sports Zone on Rogers TV. I'm here with Joanna Brown today, one of the country's best junior triathletes. Welcome back to the show, Joanna.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you here for a third time, and I think this is the most successful time you've come back after having a great showing at the Junior Worlds for triathlon. Talk a little bit about how that went for us.
Yeah, it was a great race. I surprised a lot of people, but I didn't really surprise myself. I had just psyched myself up for it so much that I was ready to win the whole thing. Yeah. It was a really fun experience. I'd never been to Budapest, and it was just amazing to kind of fly over there, try to adjust to the time difference, and get to know a whole bunch of national team members. Yeah. And the whole experience was just a lot of fun, and the race itself was just obviously the climax. So.
Yeah. You placed third, which is fantastic, getting onto the podium.
Yeah.
The race started off a little bit weird. Talk about that for us.
Yeah, well, it was a pontoon start, so we start on a big, almost floating, I don't know what to call it, a wharf?
Buoy?
A buoy, yeah. And you dive in, and there's 60-some girls in the race, and so it's just pure chaos until you get to the first buoy, which is about 300 meters away, and then you have to make a turn. And somewhere in the first, I got up out of the water, started swimming, and I was maybe 2-3 strokes in, and somebody grabbed the zipper on my wetsuit and pulled it, so water came pouring into my wetsuit and around my stomach and my legs and everything. Yeah. It was just cold and uncomfortable, and people kept pulling on it, so it was not easy swim.
So how'd you deal with it? Did you just go with it, or did you zip it back up somehow? Or?
No, well, there's no way to zip it up, so like you have to go with it. Yeah. You just kind of have to keep swimming.
Is it like that with lots of pulling and tugging, and is it like that when you get in the water?
Yeah, a lot of people, they can never tell because you can't really see, yeah. But it's just so aggressive under the water, and everybody is fighting for position, and
the city like that?
It was really cool, just because it's something I'm going to have to adjust to as I race more abroad, and it's just finding the different foods really, and kind of adjusting to the room and roommates, and like it's just a completely different culture, so you need to know what's acceptable there and what's not, and it's discovering another part of the world.
Did you bring stuff with you, like different foods? Because you know nutrition is one of the most important things. Is that something you considered when you went?
My suitcase was about 90% food and then 10% clothes. I just brought the bare minimum for what I needed for clothes, and everything else was food, so I needed to make sure that was all set.
You had a great race, but how did the rest of the Canadians do with the juniors?
Actually, the juniors did really well. We had a very strong junior, Christine Ridenour, who's from BC, and she placed 12th in the women's race. And Matt Sharp was 9th, which is the best placing ever for a junior male on the world stage. And Alexander Hinton had a very strong race as well. And then Cole Stewart, amazing swim and a great bike. And Alison Hooper, unfortunately, she didn't finish the race, but she still had a really good start. So. You're
also involved with the Junior National Series, in which you managed to win this year. I'm sure you compete against those guys a lot there too.
Yeah.
How was that season for you?
It's good. It was really cool because the Junior National Series, you're always seeing the same people. And for the women, it's always really small fields. Yeah. So maybe 20, 25 girls a race. And in Worlds, there's just people to fill in all the spots where it's not necessarily filled in here in Canada. And like the series is fun. The races are really well organized, and like it's never an issue with trying to like battle it out with people. Like everybody's really friendly, and it's just a great atmosphere. So
since you're involved with the highest level at the junior level, do you think we've got a good program going forward when it turns into trying to get people to become good senior level triathletes? Yeah, for sure. It's all about the transition. A lot of people don't make that jump from junior to U23 just because everything doubled and you're expected to do it within less than a year. So it's really hard for people a lot of times to make the jump, and I think everybody's working towards it. I think that as a country, our centers could probably work together more and kind of help everybody out, but so far we're doing a good job. So I know the last time you came in, you were getting Quest for Gold funding. How's that going for you now? Are you still getting that? Yeah, I finished that up this year, so Quest for Gold runs kind of like September to September, and because of my placing at Worlds, I'm now getting funding from Triathlon Canada, so that runs January to December. So it's obviously more help for my parents, and everything will go a little bit smoother. Do you think there's a preference toward winter athletes in the country, seeing as the standing we had at the Winter Olympics and how we've done fairly poorly at the Summer Olympics for a considerable period of time now? Yeah, like we talked about before, I just think it's Sport Canada has to look at what's going to get us medals and what's going to move us forward as a country. So
they're going to put the money where they think it's needed, and I think so far they're doing their best, and obviously it's never going to be perfect, but it's always something that we can work on.
You've been with the Bytown Storm for a really long time now. Greg Keeley's your coach. Talk about the club, having him as a coach, and how important that's been for you.
Yeah, I love the club. I love seeing the younger guys coming up, and it's really starting to expand, and you get to kind of see where you were and how far you've come. And Greg's a great coach. Like, I couldn't ask for a better coach. He's done everything he can, and he's continued to do everything he can for me. So I've really enjoyed the whole experience, and it's what's really made it what it is.
What's the hardest part? Bike, run, or swim?
Swimming. It's just chaotic. It can get so dirty, and a lot of times it makes you a lot more nervous too, because there's water, and obviously the problem with breathing if it gets splashed in your face, whatever. So it's just, you have to kind of zone out, do your own thing, and get out of there as quickly as you can.
You've had such a hectic year. You took a semester off last year, you go to Junior Worlds and you do so well, and now you're back at All Saints for that final semester to get your diploma. How much of a transition is that to come back to school and have to focus on doing really well there too?
Well, it's just like I have two different lives. There's like the me from January to September, I guess, when I'm really focused and it's all about training and triathlon, and then I kind of really have to step that down when I go back to school, because it's time to buckle down, and I want to finish school and I want to do well. So I just have to make sure that I stay focused, and obviously make time for training and everything, but I have to make sure I have still be a little.
We've got that on tape right here, 2016 Joanna Brown. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
That was Joanna Brown, a fantastic junior triathlete for the country of Canada and a student at All Saints High School. We'll be right back.